So the new Apple Pencil Pro came out a few weeks ago. I just made a Procreate video, but I didn't include any of the new features of Procreate because it hadn't been updated yet. But now the version 5.3 is out and we have all the new features. But for some reason, Procreate didn't put any like what's new tab when you come into the app after it updates. So it's very easy to not realize that it updated at all and feel like the changes have not been made yet. So this is an updated version of Procreate, but we see that with the brushes, if you turn your pencil, they don't really roll with the pen. So in order to turn that setting on, you have to turn it on individually with each brush. So we go into the brush studio, we're going to go to the shape category, and in the input style, we're gonna change it to this setting, azimuth and barrel roll. So now when we turn our pencil, it turns with it. This makes thinner lines. This will make thicker lines, and you could change it as you draw with it. Okay, so now that we know how to make our brushes do the barrel roll, one little point that I'd like to bring out is this part right underneath azimuth and barrel roll relative to stroke. If you turn that on, basically what that means is your starting point will always be the same. So even if I turn it as much as I want, it'll still start the same way. But then once I'm drawing, I can change the direction of the barrel. So I'm gonna turn that off just because I don't love that setting. I like being able to switch it before I draw. So that's how to change the direction, but there is a neat little trick of how to change the size and opacity. You can go to this wrench icon, go to Preferences, and go to Gesture Controls. In these categories, you're gonna go to Hover and turn this on. So what this does is when you're hovering over before you're drawing and you see your cursor, you could change the size with 2 fingers. And this also works with opacity, but you have to use 1 finger to mess with the opacity. So when you're hovering, if you bring the opacity up, and then you hover again and you bring the opacity down. So you can do all 3 where you have the barrel roll and then the size and the opacity for 1 brush. The next feature of the Apple Pencil is the squeeze feature. You have 3 choices of how you can use this feature on Procreate. You're going to go to the Preferences tab in the wrench icon, go to Gesture Controls. There are 3 options. You can do the eyedropper. You would turn on Apple Pencil Squeeze. This means that when you squeeze your Apple Pencil, you can pick a color and it'll make you start drawing with that color. Or you can change the preferences of your quick menu and you can turn Apple Pencil Squeeze on for the quick menu, which brings up your quick menu settings, and you can hold these down and change whatever settings you want here. Another option that you have is to turn your squeeze setting on for layer select, which is my preference. So you turn on Apple Pencil Squeeze for layer select, and this helps when you're squeezing the pencil, it hovers around to different layers, and then you can edit only that layer. So for example, if I make a mark like this one, and I don't know which layer it's on, if I squeeze, now I'm on that layer and I can erase it. Okay, so now not in regards to the Apple Pencil, but just some other updates for the new Procreate 5.3.10. So if we go to that Adjustments tab and go to Liquify, we have all of these new settings. You can use your Apple Pencil to turn anything. You can use pinch, and this will just suck everything into like a vortex type of thing. Expand makes the image get larger and larger, almost like zooming it in. Crystals kind of like makes things like, I don't know, get spiky. But what's really nice is this push feature. It basically makes it so that you can edit or like warp anything very quickly and easily. Another thing that was talked about in the keynote is haptic feedback and the shape snapping. Before this update, you would only be able to make a perfect circle or make a perfect square. With this update, you can make a perfect rectangle and a perfect ellipse. So it corrects you into a rectangle, and then you can hold down and it makes a perfectly square rectangle. On a new layer, I'm going to make 3 circles, just because in the keynote they use a traffic light to show the haptic feedback, so I'm going to use the same example. So if you move this layer, it'll give you haptic feedback in your pencil to where it's in the exact center of the rectangle. So I think that is it for all of the things that I've noticed about the new update. I think that these little things will be actually very helpful in the process of making art, just making things a little bit more efficient. So I just wanted to share those few things. I know I just made a Procreate video, but after these updates came out, I wanted to share the new features of it that I learned. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.